Okay, we're going to walk through how to make custom illustrations for your blog. So what we're going to paste in here is this prompt, and I'm just going to walk you through it. So this is one that I've used, in the past. It's something that gets pretty good results, and just walk you through each part. First, we start with illustration, right? That's pretty obvious. And then what we have here is permutations. So these are different types of illustration that we want, right? Like we want for this client, it's a tool that automatically promotes products from your blog. So they want, websites being linked together as an illustration. They want a website being examined, people solving a problem together, right? Like they want a mobile advertisement, they want a blueprint being reviewed. So these are the types of things they want illustrations of, and permutations is going to generate a new prompt for every single one of them. So I have, be generating multiple prompts at the same time. We'll be able to see how well this specific prompt does across lots of different edge cases. And if it works, then we know that it's worth using. It's much more robust than if we just tried one at a time. Then the rest of the prompt is relatively straightforward prompt engineering for a B2B company blog. That kind of means something in the style of Corporate Memphis. So if you haven't seen Corporate Memphis, you're about to see it, but you will recognize it because there's a lot of corporate blogs. Intercom's blog is one of the main ones that comes to mind for Corporate Memphis. So you're going to see that style, and it's just like a pretty standard style. Then you have white background. The reason why I use white background is just that it makes it easier to remove the background, so we have only the illustration. We're saying it's professional, clean lines, warm pastel colors. So let me just hit enter, and it's saying we're going to generate 5 prompts. You can actually see the prompts here. So you can see of websites being linked together, of a website being examined, of people solving a problem. Yeah, so it's kind of unbundled those permutations that we entered in before. All right, now it's generating, and it's going to generate the first 3, and then it's going to generate the next 2. So we'll see how this does. It's starting to generate them. Starting with a white screen, that's always useful. Like this, this is the type of thing you can work on multiple times. But I think that the key here is, like, once you have a prompt that's working, you can keep using it, right? This is really part of your brand style guide if you think about it. And I think a lot of companies in the future will have prompts as part of their brand style guides. Because once you get it working, then you can have a consistent tone of voice. You can have a consistent design feel. So people, when they come to the blog, they'll recognize it. They'll know that this is you. Now, why have illustrations in the first place? I think stock photos are one thing, and actually we have a course on AI stock photos as well. But I actually prefer illustrations for B2B just because it's a bit more abstract, a bit more interesting visually, I think. And it looks a bit more professional. Cool. So here we go. Here's our Corporate Memphis style. You can kind of see it looks like it's almost like cut out from paper and put in here. It's a bit of a Bauhaus style as well. You can see that they're all visually very consistent, right? Which is cool. And here we go. So we have this one is people solving a problem, right? And I quite like this one at the top. I think that's pretty cool. And then we have this more kind of 3D design. So this is a website being examined. And here it's generating the mobile advertisement one. Here we have websites being linked together. That's really cool. That's really interesting. And then a blueprint being reviewed. So one of the things we could do here, or what I recommend doing, is kind of upscale the ones that you like. I actually really like this 3D one here where people are sitting. So I'm going to upscale that. And then what else do I like? I like this one here where the computers are being linked together. I think that's pretty cool. Or actually, maybe this one on the bottom right. So this is number 4. Upscale that. And then let me see, they're reviewing the blueprints. I think like this top right one here. So that's upscale 2. All right, how did we do with the mobile phone? Yeah, this is cool. I like the fourth one here. That's really good. Now I have some of my upscales coming through, which is great. So I've kind of got one of each. Anything I didn't upscale yet? Yeah, I didn't upscale one of these ones, right? So I'm going to say I quite like this top one, top right. All right. So now we have, our different illustrations. They're all slightly different styles. What I would say is you could potentially pick one of these styles that you really like. Like for example, I really like this style. This is my favorite one, looking at these in a bit of a bigger image. So what I could do is I could now copy the link, and then I can use that in my next prompt. So so that one, if I just paste in there, and then I'm going to grab my prompt. So what I'm going to do is, this is my least favorite. What I'm going to do is take my favorite and use that as the base image, and then I'm going to take my least favorite, which is the prompt here, and then I'm just going to run that and see if it helps me get to what I want. So this is using the base image here, but then we're using the prompt from the other one. So hopefully it'll keep the same style. The other thing you can do here is you can use Describe. So if let me just open this up, and then I'll save the image. Okay, and then you can kind of use this to zero in on your prompts. So while that's running, I'm just going to use Describe. And then, where is it? This one. Yeah, I'm just going to paste that in. So Describe helps you reverse engineer the prompt from the image. So yeah, we already know what the prompt is, obviously, but this is going to give us a little bit of a more interesting read, right? So we might pick up some things. So like isometric concept, like, yeah, that's good. Isometric, warm color palette. Maybe we could use that instead of pastels. I think that's kind of useful. The style of graphic design inspired illustrations, web core, letterboxing. So some of these things are interesting, right? Warm tones, organic and flowing forms, light navy and light crimson, charming character illustrations. So we can pick up some of these memes, right? Like we can pick some of these up and use them in our prompt and start to zero in on the style guide we like. But I mean, it looks like we've already solved the problem, which is very cool. So this, if I want to remind you, so that is what the image looked like before. And this was people solving a problem. This is my least favorite one. And then we fed it the base image, this one, and look what it came back with. It actually matches the base image. It looks really cool. So now we can generate multiple different prompts. We can generate many different illustration styles. There are illustration scenarios, but we're all going to have the same style as long as we use this base image. So now we have, I think, a really good basis for moving forward. All right. Hopefully that kind of gives you an understanding of the workflow and how you kind of build a brand from this type of, prompting, and kind of zero in on that brand style guide.